during all these things, the process of healing and of reconciliation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members of the Commission, and good morning to members of the audience. We are ready to start today's proceedings, and Ms. Maria Masingate would lead the next witness.
I, Alaji Kebe.
I, Alaji Kebe.
Do swear that.
Do swear.
I'll speak the truth.
I'll speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
Help me God. Thank you. No problem.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning to you, Mr. Witness. As you know, my name is Maria Masingate. And I'll be questioning you on behalf of the Commission. Sorry. Mr. Chairman, the witness has a little bit of ear issues, so he will need the earpiece in order to hear clearly. Mr. Kebe, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly.
Can you hear yourself when you listen, like twice?
I'm not getting you.
You hear yourself twice when you listen through the earpiece?
No, no, no.
It's okay?
It's okay, yeah.
As you know, Mr. Witness, my name is Maria Masingate, and I will be questioning you on behalf of the Commission today. Just to go over a few rules before we start, there is simultaneous interpretation going on, so I request that you speak into the mic and you speak slowly so that the interpreters will pick on what you say, and I will do the same as well. The issues I would like to discuss with you today, first is your background, then we move to your career progression in the Army. We'll briefly touch on 22nd July 1994.
Yeah.
Then we move on to incidents of November 10 and 11.
Yeah.
And then we'll finally deal with your personal ordeal and victimization. And then we'll discuss the impact that your ordeals has on you and your family.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us your names?
My name is Alaji Kebe.
When and where were you born?
I was born in the heart of Banjul, 47 Gloucester Street.
When?
1957.
Where did you receive your primary and secondary education?
I received my primary school at Kampama Primary. Later, to St. Augustine Roman School, but not completed. After I went to the Vocational Training Center, technical school in those days.
When did you finish your secondary education?
I cannot really remember, but I think it's around 78, 79, something like that.
And when did you enroll in the vocational training school?
That's 79, yes, I enrolled there in that 79.
What course did you study at the vocational training school?
I did carpentry and joinery.
For how long did your study last?
It lasted for 3 years.
After graduating from your vocational training school, what did you do?
Then I joined the Gambia Ports Authority. At the time, at the dockyard as a carpenter. I was there till 1983. Then I decided to took voluntary retirement. From there, I opened my workshop on my own. Up to 1989, that's the time I enlisted in the Gambia National Army.
And what intake was that?
Intake 12.
After the completion of your training in the Army, what rank were you given?
I was a private soldier.
Can you please give us your career progression up to 94?
Okay, after our training, we trained for 6 months. After the training, I was posted to Farafeni on the B Company, where I spent 1 month, 50 days, because it was the end of the term of the company. They were supposed to come back to Yundum Barracks. So we came back to Yundum Barracks. From there, I was transferred to Eco Company and posted to Birkama. I was in Birkama for some time. That I was selected to go on a cadre course at Parafene, where I spent 2 weeks. From there, I came back to Birkama. After for some time, the British training team came on a visit to that camp. At that time, it was the British training team who were responsible for the training of the army. So Colonel Shaw came there, and at the time, Captain Laikonte was our company commander. So the camp was located just beside the hospital, between the hospital and the Birkama market. So he asked our commander, in case of attack, what are you going to do here? So our commander responded that I'm going to hold on my barracks, try and secure the hospital because of the sick people there. So then he said, in case of the enemy happens to fire on you, what are you going to do? He said, I cannot return fire because I'm in the midst of the civilians. So he said, then this place is not a camp. So we are closing this camp today. You people are going back to barracks. That's how I went back to Yundum. So when I went to Yundum, a little time after I applied for my vocation, they give me 3 weeks. So when I come back, just entering the camp, people started complimenting me. To my surprise, I was promoted to Lance Corporal in my absence. So when I resumed back to work 2 days after, I was decorated by Lieutenant Fraser Juve at the time, who was a company commander, who was a platoon commander in my company at the time. Then later I was transferred to the ration store as 2IC, responsible of feeding the army at the time. I was working with one couple Gazama, who was my boss, but he was about to finish his contract. So later he was asked to hand over the office to me, and he went on retirement. So I was there for a period of time. Then I was transferred to the Quartermaster's office, that is the QM, where I work with late Captain Musa Farai Balde. So that's where I was up to 1994, 22nd July.
You said when you went to Union Barracks, you were in a unit that was responsible for feeding the army.
Yeah, that's so.
Can you briefly explain how your unit was at that time?
No, it was a bit better compared to the time when the Nigerians came. Because at the time, things were at least better because we used to have supplies from yams, livestock, and these local vendors who used to supply us these perishable goods, these perishable items for the condiments that we used to cook for the soldiers. It was a bit better. There was a friend of mine who is late now. He was the fish supplier. He used to bring very good fish for the army at the time.
Do you recall what year you were promoted to Lance Corporal?
I think it was 1990, if I'm not wrong.
Do you also recall the year that you were at the unit that was responsible for feeding?
Yeah. It was the same 90 I was taken there.
Now, in July 22nd, 1994, were you still at Union Barracks?
Yes, I was there.
Can you tell us about that day?
Okay. Day before, there was a guard of honor. I think the president was supposed to come back home. Okay, I was not in camp because I was not part of the guard of honor. I went to Serekunda with my wife, who is late now. So we were there till around after 6 to 7. Then we decided to come back to the camp. But we have transport difficulties because at that time everybody was rushing home. As we were standing on the side of the road, I saw the military truck from airport going to Westfield with full of soldiers on ceremonial. So it was a tradition, after Guard of Honor, the trucks will transport men up to Westfield and drop them there so everybody finds their way home. So after dropping those soldiers, the truck was going back. I stopped at the driver. He recognized me and stopped. Said, "You heading to the camp?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, you can take us along because we don't have transport." That's why we get into the truck, sorry. The driver was one Demo Jiva. Then he just told me, "Sir, do you know what happened?" I said, "No." He said, "At the airport, these people, they wanted to stage a coup." I said, "Which people?" He said, "Yeah, Jamia and others." But they were disarmed. I went on my truck. I see the president bought his vehicle and was going. I give him a salute and get down inside my truck. So I said, "Okay, is that true?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." Then we went, he drove us to the barracks. We went to our house. By the time, I was staying with my wife at Bahamas. That's the residence of the soldiers. So the following morning, early morning, we were woken up by gunshots. That is one Musa Mane, who was the MTO at the camp there. He was responsible of dispensing the vehicles. We allocate drivers vehicles. If you have mission, you go to him. Then he will assign a driver and a truck for you to go and do your mission, whatever It depends on the type of mission you want to go on. So I understand these soldiers, they went to see this man, they don't see him, they start shooting at his windows. That's the time we woke up. We all rushed to the camp. We met Yaya Jammeh, Edward Singate, and a group of soldiers scattering weapons all over. So when you come, they will just ask you, are you interested in what we are going to do? If you said yes, they said, arm yourself. No to the cells. So I came to understand that some even senior officers were put into that cell at the time. I reached that area together with the late Samuel Jose. So he was asked to join them, but he refused. To be quite honest with you, he refused to do it. They marched him up to the cells inside the guard room, but before reaching the cells, I don't know how they convinced him, he decided to. That's how he was armed and stay with us there. After, it was a problem to have transport to go out, because this Musamani, I'm telling you, was nowhere to be seen. And he was the one who was responsible of this vehicle piece. So some of the...
I'm really sorry for cutting you, Mr. Kebe. I would just like to clarify a few issues before we move on to the story, so that we can get a clear detail of your narrative.
No problem.
Now, the day before you are talking about, is it the 21st of July 1994?
Yeah, it's the 21st.
And the day after you're referring to, is it the 22nd July 1994?
Yeah.
Now, on that day, you mentioned that you woke up. Were you residing at the camp then?
Yeah, I was residing at the camp.
At what time of the day was that?
It was early morning, around 7 o'clock, after 7.
And Musa you were talking about, the one that you said had the keys to the armory.
No,
what was his rank?
It's not the armory.
The vehicles, sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you for rectifying me.
No
the
problem.
Vehicles.
Yes.
What was his rank then?
He was a sergeant at the time.
Where was his office located at that time?
No, we have the engineering area. That's where they park their vehicles. But he was residing with us at Bahamas there. Yeah.
So you mentioned that they broke into his house. Was the house close to yours? What was the proximity of his house to yours?
I'm not getting you. Can you?
Proximity of his house to yours. Was it close to your house?
Yes, it was in the same line. We are not far from each other. But from the camp going to our residence, you pass his house first before reaching mine.
You also mentioned that you saw Yaya Jammeh and Edward Singate that morning.
Yeah.
Did you know them prior to that day?
Of course, yes. We are all in the same camp. I senior Edward as far as service is concerned. It's not that he was commissioned after when he came, but he met me in the army. Yaya Jammeh was brought to the army in 1992 when they were amalgamating the gendarmerie and the police. So he was brought in as military police commander. So that's how we get used to each other.
You also mentioned that they were asking the men to either join them or be locked up. Can you recall how many people they asked to either join them or be locked up?
All soldiers, anybody who came at that time, because it was in the morning, soldiers are supposed to come to work. You see, so anybody who comes, they just told what they are, if you accept, you join them. If you don't, they put you in the cells.
As at that time, you were still attached to the quartermaster's office, right?
Yes, it was my office.
What was the responsibility of the quartermaster's office?
Okay, the QM is the quartermaster's office. That's where the quartermaster for the 1 battalion is where we kept uniforms, from head to toe, headdress, shoes, officers' swords, they are ceremonial swords, they are belts, ceremonial uniforms for the men and officers too. So we are responsible for that. We have one book, it's called the kid book. In the army, we call it 1157. All soldiers know it. So we issue all kids on that book. So we account for everything that we give you inside that book. So anything that wants out, you can come, we change it. If it's necessary to change, we change it. If not, we ask you to go with it. And at the end of your service, you will be account for all those things. Anything that's missing, then the administration will give you to your pay before you go.
Can you please proceed from where you stopped? You mentioned that when you met them, you were asked to either join or be locked up as well.
Yeah.
So what happened afterwards?
So we had to join them as, soldiers at the time. So then after, it was a problem to go out from the barracks because there was no transport. Some of the boys happened to jump over the fence, snatch vehicles from people who were going on about their business. So we decided to use those vehicles to go to Banjul. So most of these soldiers, they don't know how to drive. So I was the one driving the pickup where Edward was sitting. Edward Singate was sitting next to me. On my back, one boy, Demba Balde. That's how we went to Banjul. Until we reached the bridge, that's where we met. This TSG have already blocked the bridge and said nobody is going. So upon arrival, a little time, Jame and crew arrived too. So they were under negotiation. Civilians were going about their business. They just stopped them, don't allow them to cross the bridge. So that place was full of civilians. So we decided to move the civilians from the scene because both sides are having weapons. Anything can happen. And in the midst of that civilian, it can create a problem. So we decided to ask the civilian people to retreat. I can fully remember that day, the Honorable O.J. Jallo, I don't know, his mother or his stepmother passed away. So they were supposed to go to Banjul to bring that corpse for burial. So, at that time, those people there were very, very popular. So people were so many at the bridge there. So we decided to retreat the civilians from the area, the danger zone. So upon doing that, civilians, most of them, they are strong-headed. We asked them to go back, they will say yes. The next you turn, they turn behind you. So that's how we are pushing and pulling with them until we reach that first factory, Kendaka. That's where we pinned them, we decided to come back. So before coming, by that time we've met, these people have already negotiated their way, and they moved to Banjul. So that's how we followed them, because there was no vehicle at the time. We decided to walk up to Banjul. Before reaching the State House, they have already get inside the State House. So I went in there, I went straight to the open area, where I met Sana Sawali. He said, Kopul Kebe, you are here? I said, yes. He said, okay, wait for me, I'm coming. I stood there for a couple of minutes. Then he came and said, Kopul Kebe, I am supposed to go to Kanifing. I said, all right, sir, no problem. He brought me inside one car. We go to Kanifing, the next station at Kanifing. So that's where he addressed those people and said that they understand that people are about to create sabotage by shutting the pumps and offing the lights. So he told them, this man is coming to work with you here. If he happens to see any sabotage, you just teach them, as the military says, this man cannot talk. He's the barrier of the gun that will talk. So be very careful. So that's where he left me. I was there the whole day. I even spent the night there with them. The day after, I wanted to go and see my mother. It was just...
As at that time, did Sana Sabali explain the reason why you were there?
Yes, he just explained to them that they are society saboteurs. So they don't want, you know, it's a coup d'etat. So if there is no water, there is no electricity, the outcry will be more. So that is what he was trying to prevent.
In essence, did he put you as in charge of those people that were there?
Yes, he just told them that this man coming to be with you. So any saboteurs, he is not going to talk. It's the barrel of the weapon that is going to talk. So I was there with them. There was no problem. Till the following day, I wanted to go and see my mom. I said, do you have any vehicle here? They said, we don't have vehicle there. Only this mobile vehicle that we have. It's a pickup covered at the back with their electrical gadgets, wires and everything in there. So I decided to use it just to go and see my mom. So when I reached Jefffield, I met up with Sabali there. So I stopped. He said, Kopul Kebe, where are you going with this? I said, sir, I just want to go and see my mom. But these people, they don't have vehicle. He said, okay, there was 1 4-runner coming, soldiers were using it. You just stop them, these 2 4-runner, and said, get down, all of you, they get down. He said, Kopul Kebe, you can use this vehicle. Go and tell your guys to come and collect this mobile pickup. That's how I went back, tell them to come and collect their pickup. Then I went and see my mom. This is how she is. And to assure him that there is nothing wrong with me, or to assure her, sorry, that there is nothing wrong with me. So I went back on my duties.
For how long did you remain in that duty?
I think we were there till about almost 3 weeks. Then...
Were you reporting directly to Sana Sabali while you were there?
Not necessarily. I think if I saw Sana Sabali just a few times after that, you see, because there was no problem. And, you know, I built a very cordial relation with those people at the time. Started buying attire, brewing attire there, you see. So everything went fine. There was no problem.
At the time you were sent to Nawek to guard the place,
it was MSG at the time.
Sorry?
It was MSG at the time.
Thank you for rectifying me, MSG.
Yeah.
At the time you were sent there to guard the place, was the council formed at that time?
Yes, yeah, no. It wasn't, because it was just, I could say 1 to 2 hours after the takeover, after we take over the State House. It was a little time. By that time, they have not even started discussing themselves. I don't know where Sana get that information, that there are people are supposed to sabotage. So that's how he just picked me and took me there. Then I think after that time, that's the time they do their meeting and started selecting themselves as council members. And whatnot.
Apart from Sana, did you have this discussion with any of the council members?
No. It's only in the evening, if I'm not... Yes, only in the evening, that day in the evening. Yes, I went to... I met up with this man, Edward Singati. I met up with Edward. He was passing, I was just going outside. So, stop and say, Kopul Kebe, you are here? I said, yes, okay. He's the only person I met after that time.
So, after 3 weeks of being at MSG, what happened next for you?
Then we were asked to stand down and report back to Yudu. So when this happened, I went back to Yudu and went back to my office as the quartermaster still.
As at this time, who was your overall boss?
Okay, you know, Captain Balde was my boss. Sorry, Captain Balde was my boss, but he was later promoted and appointed as commissioner of, I don't know, Upper River Region, I don't know. So he left me in the office there alone.
Who was the commander of Yundum Barracks at that time?
At that time, I think it was Marong. No, sorry, because the first days, this man was the commander, Barrow, and later Barrow was out, then this man was in Marong.
Give us the first name and rank.
Lieutenant Basiru Barrow. Lieutenant Basiru Barrow. For Marong, I forgot his name because he was a TSG personnel, not GNA. You see.
What was his rank?
He was lieutenant too.
So what happened thereafter?
Then after job carry on, we were working. So there was no problem at the time.
What was the mood of the soldiers in the camp after the July 22nd takeover?
No, it was normal. It was normal because, okay, we were governed by people before, that is the civilians. Now it's the military that take over, so obviously there was no problem. The expectations were high, but other than that, nothing else. We are working fine.
Was there any significant change at the camp after July 22nd takeover?
No, there was no change. There was no change. It was the same routine.
For how long did you remain at the Yundum Barracks?
I was there all the time until this 11 November incident.
Let me take you back to November 10th. Were you at the camp that day?
Yes, I was at the camp.
Can you tell us about that day?
Yes, I was in my office doing my normal routine until around approximately after 2 to 3. That's the time we had a roll call that the RSM said let us all fall into the open area, that's the flag post there. So one of my boys who were working with me, I think it was Yuf or Job, one of them, came and said, sir, the RSM said we all fall into the flag post.
Who was the RSM?
RSM Sanyang was the acting RSM at the time.
Can you please give us his first name?
Babukar Sanyang.
So what happened after the RSM has asked you to fall in?
Then everybody went. That's the time we saw the council members coming. So when they came, they come out from their vehicles. The RSM spring the men to attention, hand over them to the council. Then they start telling us that there is a rumor that they heard about some people who wanted to overthrow their regime. It was first announced by Sana Savali, and he said anybody who is ventured to participate in that will be dealt with accordingly. It was Singate did the same comments. Sadibu Haidara. Edward went to the extent of even firing 3 shots on the air to demonstrate how they're going to treat anybody who ventured to overthrow their regime. So it was a quiet moment for soldiers because as our superiors stand in front of us lamenting those type of things, you cannot say anything to them. So we were there, they say all what they wanted to say, and the RSM seek permission from them to fall out the men. They said, okay.
Can you recall what time of the day that was?
It's supposed to be around after 2, 3, running towards 4 o'clock.
When you said council, who were you referring to?
The council members then at the time, you have Sana Savali, Edward Singate, Yankuba Ture, Sadibu Haidara.
Were they all present for that meeting?
Yeah, for Yankuba, I don't see him to be quite honest with you. don't see him, to be quite honest with you. But other than him, all those people, including Babukar Jata, Mudu Baji, those senior men, they were all there.
Aside from those that came into the camp, what of the other officers that were in the camp? Were they also present at that meeting?
They were present. They were present. My commanding officer at the time, Lieutenant Dao, was there. Lieutenant Buba Jame.
Can you please provide the first names as well as their ranks?
Those people are Sandamori personnel. That's why most of them I don't know their names, to be quite honest with you. But I know Lieutenant Dabo was my immediate boss at the time, because the time they came, he was brought in at the Quartermaster's office just to supervise me. You see, just for a command purpose, because all the job was done by me. You see, so Nyanju, because after the takeover, all those sergeants, they were giving sub-lieutenant ranks. It's only C who was giving full lieutenant, two stars. So we were all there. All those officers were there. So
was Say also present at that meeting?
He was there, of course, yes, he was there.
And what's his first name, please?
Jibril Say. I'm used to him because we are almost the same area. You see?
The Nyancho you were referring to?
Yes.
What was his name?
Yeah, I think it was Bakari Mane or Buwa Mane, I don't know. But
what was his rank?
He was lieutenant at the time. They were all giving sub-lieutenant rank at the time, 1 star.
How long did that meeting last?
Approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour. It was a one-sided meeting. It's only the council who talked and everybody dispersed. So.
Can you recall the number of soldiers present at that meeting, apart from the council members?
No. I'm not getting you.
Can you recall the number of soldiers that were present at that meeting?
Soldiers were many. You're talking of your camp, Yundum Barracks. Many soldiers were there. You see? And when they blew the bugle, she had fallen, no soldiers will stay behind. Even cooks, they will leave the cookhouse and come, just to know what is happening.
After that said meeting, what was the mood of the soldiers like?
No, all right, let me just clarify one thing. My office was not in the midst of the camp. You see? So any time such a thing happened, if I'm finished from there, I'm just back to my office as the quartermaster. So I don't mingle the men, because most of the men are in the companies, that's the infantry companies, you understand? We are more admin than infantry. You see? So how soldiers were, how the mood of soldiers were at that time, definitely I cannot tell much.
What of you personally, when you attended that meeting and you heard the warnings like you mentioned, right, from the council members, what went through your mind then?
No, I cannot understand, because it's just a surprise to me. And I have never had anything like that to any soldier also. So definitely when they just came and said they had rumor mongering, people are about to overthrow their regime, it was a big surprise on my side. Anyway, you see.
You mentioned that after the meeting you went back to your...
I went back to my office.
Office?
Yes.
What happened afterwards?
You know, there was supposed to be a dress rehearsal the following day. And all the backups are from my office. I issue officers ceremonial shorts, their belts, and any other requirements that they need. So I went there until closing time. I decided to close my office and pass to my boss, Lieutenant Dao, who was assigned as the commander at the time. So I told him, sir, I'm going home. He said, I said, yes. I said, pass to RSM. Let him brief you. So I went to RSM Sanyang's house at the time. I said, RSM, sir, message from my boss, Lieutenant Dabo. He said, let you brief me. He said he doesn't know what to tell me. That was the response he gave me. So I said, okay. I decided to continue and go home.
At what time of the day did you go to RSM Sanyang?
It was a little to 4 after 4, something like that. 4 after 4.
And what was the dress rehearsal supposed to be for?
It was for the Remembrance Day.
When was the Remembrance Day scheduled to take place?
It was supposed to take place Sunday, the 13th.
What happened after you went to RSM Sanyang's office?
So, not in his office, at his residence. That's where I passed. He was staying at the Bahamas there too. So I told him, anyway, from my boss, he said, let you brief me. He said he doesn't know what to tell me. I said, okay. Then I move and go straight to my house.
Afterwards, when you went straight to your house, what did you do next?
After taking my lunch, I stayed there till 5 o'clock. I do my 5 o'clock prayers, then perform my supplementary prayers. From there, I decided to dress up and go to my second wife. At the time, I was having 3 wives.
Where was your second wife residing then?
At Latrikunda.
How about your first wife?
She was in Banjul, in our family compound.
So what happened?
So then, as I was preparing to go, one Sergeant Jata from Ban, he's a member of the Army Ban, a brother to the then Army Commander at the time, Babukar Jata, he came to my house, he met me outside. I was even wiping my shoes. He said, Kopul Kebe, I said, yes, sir. He said, you people are supposed to take over guard from the guard platoon. I said, sir, why? He said, these people are supposed to go on dress rehearsals tomorrow. So you people are going to take over guard, and that's the guard list. So I said, what time are we taking over? He said, you're taking over 11 o'clock or first thing in the morning. That is 11 p.m. or first thing in the morning. I said, okay, sir, no problem. So at that time, there was a small joke between me and my late wife. He started saying, okay, today there is no going to Latrikunda, you are staying here. Then from there, I waited up to around 10:30 to 11. I started preparing myself. I dressed up, take that guard list he gave me, my weapon. Then I decided to head to the camp. So when I went out from my house, I met up with Basiru Kamara. He was a sergeant at the time. He too was part of that guard list that we were supposed to take over from the boys. You know, we used to have reinforcement from admin, the engineers, and the mechanics, even from cookhouse, when we are sort of men. So at that time, men were not that much because of the areas of responsibilities were too much. So they asked the headquarter company to take over for the platoon that is on guard so that they can perform the dress rehearsals preparing for the Remembrance Day. So I was given that list by Sergeant Jata.
Sergeant Jata, can you recall his first name?
To be quite honest, I forget his first name, but he's a brother to Babukar Jata, the then Army Commander at that time, and I think he's still serving at the bar.
Apart from you on that list, who else was on that list? Can you recall the names of the people that were on that list and on guard?
I was used to Basiru Kamara because we are not far from each other. Sorry. He was in the list. But others, you know, they select people from engineering, squadron, cookhouse, the mechanics. So we are not used to those people. It's just from time to time, when we met up on guard duties, that's the time we know each other.
Around what time did Sergeant Jata give you that list?
That was after 5 to 6.
Did you eventually meet with the people that you were supposed to be on guard with that day?
No, only when I was going out, I met up with Basi Kamara. He said, "Are you part of the guard?" I said, "Yes, that's the guard list. I'm part of it, so I'm going to the camp." He said, "Me too, I'm going." Then we started to move. There is a shop just after, there is a feeder road between our residence and the main camp. So just after that feeder road, there is a shop at the end. So he stopped at the shop and was trying to buy something there. I don't know. Then me, I continue on my way.
Around what time was that?
That was around to 11 or a little after 11.
What happened afterwards?
Pardon?
What happened afterwards?
Then I went on my way. Upon entering the bar gate of the camp, which is just next to the officers' mess, that's where I met up with Edward Singante, Lieutenant Edward Singante. He called my name, Kopul Kebe. I said, "Sir," he said, "What are you people on?" I said, "Sir, what?" He said, "Where is your weapon?" I said, "That's my weapon here." He said, "Give it to me." I give him my weapon. Then he left me and started to go. I heard him saying to other soldiers, "If you don't mind, we'll start shooting on you people." So,
Sorry, can you repeat that?
pardon?
Repeat what he said.
He said, "You people, if you don't mind, we'll start shooting on you people." So that's the time I've already surrendered my weapon to him. And I heard him mentioning that if you don't mind, we'll start shooting on you people. I said, "Let me just go back home now." So I decided to retreat and go to Bahamas, where I stay.
Did you observe anything unusual that night?
The camp was totally dark. It was totally dark. It's just, I met up with him just at the beginning of the, when entering the camp. You see, it was a big dark. I don't see anybody. It's only him I met. And that is what transpired between me and him. He said, "Kopul Kebe, what are people on?" I said, "I'm nothing." He said, "Where is your weapon?" I said, "That's it." He said, "Give me your weapon." I just handed him over my weapon because I was not on anything. I was supposed to go on duties. He took my weapon. I decided to retreat. So
We have listened to the evidence of RSM Sanyang, now Lieutenant Colonel Sanyang.
Sanyang, yes.
He mentioned in his evidence that you mentioned that you went to his house.
Yes.
And told him that you and others have decided to remove the council from power, and that you are ready to do that now, and that he should line up men and prepare for it. What do you have to say about that evidence?
I think this is the Quran I sworn in. Between me and the Almighty God that I respect. That never transpired between me and Babukar Sanyang. I went to Babukar Sanyang immediately after I closed my office and passed through my boss. He said, "Let me go to Babukar Sanyang, let him brief me." I went to him. I told him the message. He said he doesn't know what to tell me. That's the time I last see Babukar Sanyang. I never went to Babukar Sanyang's house telling him to, the men are ready, let him tell the men to come out. Who am I, a male and couple, to talk to a senior officer like that? And I'm not that type of person. I wish you go to the army and ask who Kopul Kebe was. I'm not praising myself, but I can tell you I was one of the most disciplined soldiers in that army. In a sense, I'm an elderly somebody. I joined the army at not my youth age. I went there as an engineer. It's just because of the training I had, they feel are more important in the infantry than being in the engineering squadron. That's why that's how I was posted to be a company. You see? So for me going to Babukar Sanyang, telling him that the men are ready, let him fall in the men, everybody is ready, that's not true. To be quite honest with you. That never transpired between me and Babukar Sanyang. Only what I tell you, and that was in the afternoon. I never saw Babukar Sanyang during that night.
Were you the only Kopul Kebe at that time in the army?
There are 3 Kopul Kebes in the army, as far as I know. I am Kopul Kebe, Kopul Alaji Kebe, 10877. The other Kopul Kebe is Kopul Amadou Kebe, 10878. He is my class. We joined the service the same day. The other one is an engineer. So if Babu Kasayang said that I went to him and tell him that let him fall in the men, that's not true.
Can you please give us the name of the third Kopul Kebe?
No, I don't know his name. He's an engineer, but I know him as Kopul Kebe.
Do you know where he was stationed at that time?
At that time, he was at Farafeni, if I'm not wrong.
So after you were told by Edward to hand over your weapon, what did you do?
I decided to go back home.
Where was home for you?
That's at Bahamas, where I'm staying with my family. So when I walk up to very little to reach my house, I heard gunshots inside the camp. So Bahamas, everybody started opening their doors, moving out their families, because we are staying there with our families. That's how I went and knocked my wife. He opened the door. I said, have you heard what is going on? He said, yes. Gee, what is the problem? I said, I don't know. Anyway, people are moving out. Let's try and move out. He said, where are we going? Birkama is far, because she is from Birkama, their family compound. I told her, no, we cannot go to Birkama now. Let's move to my in-law's place. That is Papati. He's a brother to him, to her, sorry. He's staying at Banjurinding. I said, Banjurinding is more settled, so let's try and go to Banjurinding. That's how we went, me, she and her and our mate. So we walked through the back way to go to Banjurinding. I met up with one soldier when I was going with my family by the name Abajiba. He was a soldier at the time, but I last saw him, I think, at that time. You see, I don't know whether he's serving still or he have left the army. But we met up at Banjurinding because he was staying at Banjurinding. So when I took my family to my in-laws' place, Papate, so I explained what happened. So I decided to leave my family there and go back. He said, no. You said there is a problem in the camp. Your weapon is not with you. They've taken it. You had shots to bring your family here and you want to go back. It's not safe. Spend the night here till tomorrow.
The shots that you said you heard when you were going back to your home,
yes.
Was it like a single shot or like sporadic shots that you heard?
It was single shot, but it was more than 3.
Can you recall from which side of the camp the shots were coming from?
No, it was the main camp, Unum Barracks there.
So what happened after you went to your in-laws' house and you were asked to stay?
So I stayed there in the morning, early hours of the morning, around after 7 to 8. We had that announcement from Sana Savari that there was a coup attempt. Some of the soldiers lost their life. So I decided to wait till Monday to know what is happening completely so that I can return back to the camp.
That particular night, you were supposed to be on guard duty, right?
Yes.
And you had shots.
Yes.
And you decided to evacuate your family to your in-laws' home.
Yeah, it's not me alone. The whole Bahamas. All who were there with their families, they decided to vacate and take their families. We are soldiers. We know the consequence of this thing, bullets. So, and we know the weapon that we are using. You see, AK-47 is a very dangerous weapon, so you cannot leave your family in that midst. That's why everybody decided to take your family away.
Well, after you went to your in-laws' house, they urged you to stay because you were not sure what was going on in the camp.
Yeah.
Now, you had over the radio,
Yes.
you had an announcement saying that, Sana Sabali saying that there was a fight and some men died.
Yes.
So what did you do afterwards?
I decided to stay till Monday to know exactly what is happening, so that the dust will be cleared and I'll know where to stand. So I was there till Sunday around after 5. I don't know whether they told somebody gave them tip-off that I am staying with my in-law, or maybe the boy I met before that night. But they have the information that I'm in my in-law's house, because I can fully remember that day around 3 o'clock I went to see a brother of mine, that is CJ, who is staying at Banjul. He is now in the UK. So from there I went back. Then I performed my ablution, pray 5 o'clock prayers. Upon doing my supplementary prayers, that I heard the sound, Kopun Kebe, come out, Kopun Kebe, come out. So before getting out of the house, there is one civilian who came in. I don't know whether he came from these people who were shouting. So he just said, your people are here. So I walked out. I saw Sergeant Fati, Lamin Fati, Bach Samba Jaro, Lance Corporal Jame Kanilai. I don't know the first name, whether it's Buba or Bakari, I don't know. But we used to call him Kanilai because it's a Rishtifiya Jame.
Does the name Musa Jame ring a bell?
No, not Musa Jame. Not Musa
Jame?
It's not Musa Jame. I think it's Buba. But we used to call him locally Kanilai in the camp at the time. He was a Lance Corporal. So they came with a small car. The one Peter or Edward was driving, those small Toyotas. So they said, I'm on arrest. I said, what? He said, just Edward, we are here just to arrest you. I said, okay. I wanted to board the vehicle. They said, no. They opened the boot and said, get inside. So I get inside the boot. I was squeezed there, a very small boot, and they locked the boot. And
where was your family at this point?
my wife was standing right in front of the scene. Even Sergeant, that party, tell her that, sister, this man is just your husband. You can get another husband tomorrow. In a sense, they're going to kill me. I don't know. You see? But he uttered that word to my wife.
Were they armed?
They, of course, yes. All of them were with AK-47.
What time of the day was this?
It was a little after 5, going towards 6.
Were you restrained before asked to enter the boot?
Where, can you repeat that?
Were you restrained in any way before asked to enter the boot?
No. They don't do anything to me. They just asked me to get inside the boot. So I squeezed myself in there, and they locked it.
How big was the boot of that car?
It was terrible. It was terrible, very small size. And grown up somebody like me, squeezing himself inside that small car, the boot, it was terrible. And they locked it after. It was more terrible than even what you can say, because even animals, you don't lock them inside those boots. Much more a human being.
So what happened after they locked the boot?
I'm in another world, because I don't know what is going on. From time to time, I was just realizing we could move. Sometimes I realized it stopped. That's how I was. It was a long time. All of a sudden, I learned the vehicle stopped. That stop was quite, at least a little time, ranging from 15 to 20 minutes, but I was still inside the boot. Then they opened. I look at them, they look at me, they said, Couple Quebec, come down. So,
can you estimate how long you were in that boot before it stopped?
It was a long time. The estimation was the time I was entering the guard room. That's the time I raised my head and said, and the clock was 10 minutes to 10. So it was almost 5 hours I was in that.
You were arrested around 3 p.m., right?
No, around a little after 5. Yeah.
So a little after 5, from 10, that's about 5 hours.
Something like
you
that.
spent 5 hours in the boot.
Yeah.
What was the distance between where you were to the guard room that they took you to?
No, Banjuling and Unum camp. It's just a small walk. Much more a car. They were going around with me, I don't know. Because I just realized the vehicle move. Sometimes it stops for a long time, they move again. That's how it was, because that place was very dark, you don't have anything to say. Even to breathe was my problem. I was sweating like somebody they are pouring water on him. See, I think if it would have happened for them to exit that time, maybe they will just find me dead. They threw me and find their way. But fortunately, when they open, I look at them, they look at me, they said, come down, I come down. They said, go to the guard room. The time I was going to the guard room, that's the time I raised my head, I saw the clock was 10 minutes to 10. So upon entering the guard room, on the whole there was a man who was hiding himself just beside the wall there by the name JCB Mendy.
What was his rank then?
I think he was a private soldier at the time. So he just gave me a very good slap on my face. I nearly fall down.
Do you know if he was ordered to slap you? Did you hear any orders for him to slap you?
Not necessarily that, but I know it's something that they plan, because JCB alone will never look on Kopul Keve, much more going to the extent of slapping me. It's just the situation that I was at the time. So
what happened afterwards?
Gave me the slap, I nearly fall down, so I just control myself. Then they asked me to go and sit on the chair, just next to the provost table. So I sit there. Then Edward Singate said, that's the army commander, which was a strange to me. He said, he's the one that they're supposed to give the army commander when they succeeded in their coup. Then he said, he's the one who called from airport. I said, me? He said, yes. I said, no, sir. Me, I don't call from airport. And what you are telling me is a story to me. I've never joined any coup, much more than going to the extent of trying to appoint me as army commander. Then that's the time they call signal office. One signaler was there by the name BI. He's a private soldier. I know the surname, but I don't know the full name. He was called BI. He was the signaler. So they said I called BI from airport, which was not true. I was not at the airport.
Who said you were the one that called BI from the airport?
Edward Singate said it. He said I called. He was the one who said I was supposed to be the army commander when they succeeded in their coup.
Apart from Edward, who else was in that room?
Sana Sabari was there with their Odlis, the Islamic party, and many other people were there. You know, the time they see me getting out from that boat, soldiers were coming from all corners just to come and see how they're going to last with me. So the place was very full.
So what happened when they called this BI?
They called
Private
BI. I took the phone. I said, BI, you said me call you from airport. He said, no, Kopul Kebe don't create problem for me. That's how hearing of the phone.
Did anyone else hear what BI told you?
No, I was the one speaking with him. But I understand that Kopul Kebe, the time he was calling BI, Edward was inside the signal office. Because I think after, when we met up, me and him, and he took my weapon, that's the time he went to the signal office. So when they had that call from that Kopul Kebe, so they thought that it was me, according to what I feel. So I said, sir, no, it's not me.
Which Kopul Kebe do you think they're referring to?
Later I came to understand that Kopul Ahmad Kebe was at the airport at the time. Sorry, let me clarify one thing here. I've heard some people who testified before me mentioning my name, Alaji Amadou Kebe. I'm not Amadou Kebe. I'm Alaji Kebe. 10877 is Alaji Kebe, me. 10878 is Amadou Kebe. So many people are mixing my name with him. I'm not Amadou, I'm Alaji. So I understand that he was the one who was at the airport at the time, and he was the one who wanted to speak to somebody into barracks, not me.
So you believe that the Kebe that RSM Sanyang was talking about and the Kebe that Edward was referring to is not you, and that is mistaken identity?
No, for RSM Sanyang, it's just out of, I don't know, because I went to RSM Sanyang broad daylight, and he knows me very well. We are staying together. So he cannot mix me with anybody. He was just trying to play games. And what he was saying wasn't true, was not the least. I've never seen RSM Sanyang at that night going to the extent of telling him to fall in the man. Who am I? May Alan's couple? This man doesn't know that I know my bits. Even if I was part of that, I will not take that responsibility. A junior couple to go and tell a whole RSM, come and fall in the man. What army is that?
So what happened after the call from BI?
So he said, let me just don't create problem for him. We decided to ring over ring off the phone. I said, okay. Then that's the time Sana came in. Sana Sabali. He said, Kopul Kabe. I said, yes, sir. He said, you should be the last person to join these boys. I told him, sir, that will show you that I am not part of anything.
Why did he say that to you?
Okay, it's because Sana is my class. We joined army the same day. I'm older than him. I worked with his father. The time I was working with agriculture under GAD. The father was at agriculture. I was working on a project, GAD project. It's an agricultural project that came here from US. So I was their maintenance manager. You see? So I worked with Sana's father, Pabiji Sabari. By that time, I don't know Sana. You see? So during the time of our recruitment, when we are familiarizing to each other, that's the time he told me that he's from Kasakunda. I told him, anyway, I know a man by the name Pabiji Sabari. He said, he's my father. I said, that man is more a dad to me. We did a lot. We are working together. That's the time I told him, anytime you go home, tell your father that I met Mr. Kebe. When he make the father to know that, the father told him that that man is a brother to you, hold him. That's how we became used to each other. My wife can bear me witness. Anytime Sana came to Banjul, he would go and visit my family. The time I was in Birgama, Sana used to come there every day, almost. When they closed work, straight to Birgama camp, my wife used to dish out food for them. I used to go around my house, leave them there with my music set. They enjoy themselves. Until last was, they come back to barracks.
So what happened after Sana told you that?
So when I told him that will show you that I will not be part of anything. So it was a little bit silence between me and him. That's the time I had the shot from my left. It went inside this leg and buried itself here. I fall down. So,
can you please give us a description of what occurred in that room, where you were, where Sana was, and where the shot came from?
Okay, I was sitting at the corner of the guard room. The provost table is just in front of me like this, so Sana was sitting on the table. At my left-hand side, there was a camp bed there where Edu was sitting. I think it's good. I don't see him trying to aim to shoot at me. It could have been more worse on my side. Maybe I will try to defend myself from that bullet that it can touch me somewhere will do more harm than good.
So the shot came from Edward?
From Edward. So it passed through this left leg and buried itself inside this right one. I fall down. Edward rose and put the pistol on here to finish me, but he was shouted by Sana, stop it. That's the time he stopped.
What was the last name of Edward?
Edward Singati.
His?
Pardon?
His rank then?
Was the council members. By the time they were lieutenant, I think after that time, that's the time they promote themselves to those big ranks.
Can you please tell us how you felt when the shot passed through your body, and from which angle of your body did it pass through, and where did it land?
It passed through my left thigh and landed itself on the right one. You know, the velocity of the bullet was dropped because of it passed through the left thigh. That's why it buried itself. It hit the heart of the bone of my right thigh, just 3 inches below the femur. That's where it broke. And so with that, it cannot go out again, so it has to lodge itself there.
What were you feeling at that time?
I was feeling horrible. Somebody who is shot, you can estimate the pain you have at the time. So when I fall down, he went to extend to complete me once and for all. So he was stopped by Sana. So where I was lying down, I was lying on a pool of blood. So Sana asked me to get up. I told him, sir, I cannot. To my own sense, he decided to assist me to get up. But later he felt reluctant. He decided to sit back and call my name. He called on me, Kopul Kebe. I said, yes, sir. He said, try and get up. I forced myself with the help of the left leg. By that time, this right leg was completely finished. So I sit back. Then I started feeling the pain, which I cannot estimate. I asked them to just finish me once and for all, because I cannot resist this pain. So that's the time Sana started shouting, call me the medic, call me the medic. That's how they rushed and called the medics. They came with their first aid kits. Sana told them, you cannot treat this man here. He's dying in our hearts, take him. That's how I was dragged to the clinic there.
Who dragged you to the clinic? Can you recall?
I think it's the medics and some men. By the time, definitely, even to see, it's a problem. I heard Kuli in his testimony saying that he was there assisting, but I cannot recognize him, to be quite honest with you. It's only Laisar who I can recognize. Lai was talking to me.
What was the rank of Laisar?
Laisar, I think he was a sergeant at the time, but from the TSG. But he was a medical officer too, at the time. He was the senior man at the medical side there.
What treatment did they administer to you when you got to the clinic?
No, there was nothing that they can do. Only they were taking cottons, stuffing it inside the wound to stop the blood, because blood was flowing all over, both legs. But this one was more serious than this one. So they were trying to stop the blood by putting cottons in there, because there was nothing that they can do other than that. So,
were you given any pain medication?
No, I was drinking water only. I asked them water frequently. They gave me 6 bottles of Evian, this big one. I drank. I came to understand after Lysar was stopping them for giving me water. I don't know whether I could have drink until I finished, or maybe the drinking was the source of that blood coming out all the time. So I asked them not to give me water anymore.
Can you recall for how long you laid down there before Sana called out for medic?
No, when I fall down, when this man shot me, I fall down. He ran and wanted to finish me. He said, stop it. That's the time he asked me to get up. When I try and get up myself, the pain I was feeling, I cannot estimate it. I said, finish me. I cannot resist the pain. So that's the time he started shouting, call me the medics, call me the medics. That's how these people came with first aid box. He said, you cannot treat this man here. Take him, take him. So that's how I was dragged to the clinic.
Apart from stuffing your leg with cotton to try and stop the bleeding, did you receive any other medical attention?
There was nothing there. There was nothing there. So...
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I think my time is up now. My time is up now for a break. So if we can pause the testimony here till we return. And I'd like to proceed with the witness. I apologize. I should have checked the time earlier in order to give time to the commissioners to ask questions, but I had lost track of time.
Thank you very much, Emma Council. I guess we would wait until we come back from the break, and if we have any questions, to pose those questions. In the meantime, we will take a 30-minute break. Come back at 12 noon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.
you.